So, I want to talk about this lesson that I learned recently. A friend of mine is a Buddhist, and he had contacted me asking me if I had any other massage therapists besides of myself who I would recommend to him because he wanted somebody out of the friend group. And at first I kind of jokingly said, well, sure, I can recommend somebody to you, but word is I'm pretty good at my job. Are you sure you don't want to just come see me? And he said, I have a teacher who says that when the teacher and the student have some sort of a relationship, that there's three people in the room: the teacher, the student, and the relationship. And he would just feel more comfortable. And of course, I gave him a name of somebody, and I would always want anyone who comes to me to feel comfortable. But I also did have this sort of sticky feeling at first of like, I almost felt like it was sort of a slap in the face in a way, because I am actually, very honored to be the therapist and yoga instructor and even coach to a lot of my friends. And as I said, I'm just glad that not everybody shares that feeling, or else my client list would be down about 75%. And also I was a little chagrined because, it was a week that I could have used a little extra business. My schedule was a little light. So, I had to get myself around these things. And what I came to realize is that I honored his feeling, and I got it. It really gave me a lot of inspiration to look deeply at my relationship with my clients and students and coaching co-creators and such. And I realized that for me, in this age of Aquarius that we're moving into, I believe that my relationship with people is exactly what gives me the ability to address their needs so well. So the more I know somebody, the better I am able to meet them where they need to be met. And this is, a little different in the context of each of the transformative modalities that I use to help people shift in their life, but it still holds true. So I thought about this even more deeply when it comes to the coaching piece of my model, because indeed a lot of the people who come to me are friends, and in the therapist world that's not really ethically sound. Or if two people become friends, then maybe the appropriateness of the relationship in terms of therapist to patient is questionable. And I get this. I've had many therapists in my life, and of all sorts. And what I realized when I was developing my coaching container was that for me, what I want to offer to the people who come to me for coaching, which is different than therapy, but it kind of has a lot of similarities in terms of what I do with people, that it's not so far off. I realized that I wanted to transcend that hierarchical relationship that therapists and clients often have, whereby the patient or client really doesn't know much about the therapist. And the therapist kind of sits above or away from the experience as if to pretend neutral. And for me, most of my personal expansion into more and more wholeness has come from the relationships and reflections that I have been able to share with other people, in meaning theirs to me and mine to them. So I realized that under no circumstances did I want to hold myself above anybody else for any reason. So I inform the people who come to me that I may share anecdotal stories about my life that are relevant to their journey. And in truth, we are connected. The cells in my body are connected via their function to serve my body. And, likewise, we humans are connected. And so to keep ourselves in a paradigm of separateness, I think is a holding on to what the Piscean age has been, which is more of a hierarchical kind of paradigm. And we're coming into a place where we are more aiming and striving in the age of Aquarius to be cooperative and collaborative. So I see knowing who I am helping in a professional manner to transform however they wish to transform. I see that knowing and that sharing as a boon and a gift and a strength. And then I do understand why it's very important for there to be clear, distinguished relationship containers and boundaries, which is not my favorite word, but boundaries when it comes to working with people professionally. And I think it's time for us to evolve the model a little bit and to embrace the relationship with honor and with respect, and to learn to marry the two paradigms of relationship and of professional aid and help together, so that we can really hold each other's elbows as we move into this age of Aquarius. As it turns out, and I really was okay after a couple days with his choice. It only took me maybe a little self-reflection to be fully in support of his choice, but I also fully acknowledged to my classes and some of my clients, I fully acknowledged, because of what he brought to my awareness even more, I acknowledged to them, I understand how much trust you're placing in me. To come to me when we are on equal ground as friends, to come to me and allow me to be in the role of your teacher or your therapist, massage therapist, or your guidance coach, that is a great, great honor, and one I don't take lightly. And so I've been holding this honor, with such a precious and tender appreciation for the past few weeks. And in fact was, telling a friend of mine who was curious to know if how I coach might help her, where therapy hasn't been able to. And we talked, and I brought up, the piece of her being my friend, and how this is something to acknowledge. And I explained to her what he had said, and we talked, and I don't know if she will or will not engage with letting me assist her with some transformations that she's seeking. But what I do know is that about an hour after I spoke with her, and really, after a couple weeks of truly coming to feel very strong that I am best able to serve by knowing people well, don't you know that person contacted me to make an appointment? And I don't know what conversation we're going to have. I don't know if it's going to come up or not. And I don't know that that's important. But what I do know is that I've known him for several years, and I don't know him very well. But I feel very honored and privileged that he's taking this leap. And I am spinning into my preparatory prayers as I get ready to see him for his massage treatment. I'm spinning in that I am the best vessel for this time that we spend together that I can be, and that the context of our relationship assist me in assisting him however I am meant to, in ways that are mutually right for both of us. So I just think it's worth, thinking about. We're coming into a time of weaving, and it's a time for us to be deeply introspective and ask if the models that have been appropriate are still appropriate. So with that, I thank you. If you watched this, if you got something out of it, do all the YouTube things, give it a little like, you could comment, you could become a subscriber. You know what to do. Thank you.